What's up, YouTube? It's your man Sean over here at IONUTV coming through with another one. Today we're going to be investigating the LA County Sheriff's Department. This was sent to me by a subscriber. I think it's great content. LA is investigating 50-year-old police gangs finally. Poor and mostly minority communities around the country have complained for decades that some local law enforcement agencies often behave more like racist criminal street gangs than swore police officers are lawfully terrorizing Black and Latino communities. Although serious efforts to confront the issue on a systematic level have been absent, there has been some evidence to support the assertion in many jurisdictions. Officials have known the violent and racist gangs operate within the ranks of the nation's largest local police force, the LA County Sheriff's Department, for more than 30 years, according to news reports, federal court decisions, independent investigations, and government analysis dating back to 1990. The deputy gangs create a shadow system of supervision and conflict with actual chain of command and have us in an us against them culture that leads to racial profiling, frequent excessive use of force, and sometimes death. At least 18 of these secretive groups have been identified over the years with Macumbre names like the Bandidos, Jump Out Boys, the Executioners, and Grim Reapers, according to a 2021 report, Loyola School Center for Juvenile Law and Policy. Wow. It's crazy, y'all. Moving on. Historically, the gangs formed at mostly white police stations in poor minority and Latino immigrant communities, so-called ghetto stations, according to a 1992 study commissioned by the County Board of Supervisors. By contrast, majority white, higher income areas like Malibu have never known deputy gangs or cliques, the Loyola Center reported. 6 LASD stations accounted for well over half of 133 deputy shootings between 2016 and 2021, and each has an active deputy gang. Historically, of complaints and lawsuits alleged by the gang misconduct, the Loyola report found approximately 80% of those shootings involved Black or Latino people. Wow. I wonder why that was. The county keeps a running tab of legal claims related to the deputy gangs. These cases have cost LA about $21 million since 2010. So it's very expensive to keep these guys running. And we paying their salaries, all the taxpayers. It's crazy, man. On March 24th, a civilian commission formed in 2017 to oversee the sheriff's department announced a full-scale investigation in LASD gangs. The move appears to be a commendable effort to truly confront the scope of a profoundly serious problem that reflects on the fundamental fitness of law enforcement agencies. Reports documenting several evidence of white supremacist individuals and gangs in other jurisdictions suggested that police in other cities could benefit from similar investigations. I bet they could. They need to go to Chicago first. Moving on. During a press conference March 29th, Sheriff Alex Villanueva described the investigation as an attempt and accused the Los Angeles Times of colluding with the Inspector General and Commissioner to smear him during the election cycle. The LA County Sheriff, in response to some of the questions about the investigation, reported to a video of press conference. Wow. So yeah, man, the spotlight is getting put on them. They done turned the lights on them. It's up to us, YouTubers, to get the word out. Most middle-class communities probably won't know what we talking about here, but you come from a poor background, you sure knew a lot about what they've been up to. I asked Sean Kennedy, a commissioner chair and an executive director of our Loyola Center, why the current investigation is different from the past government-led efforts. California's Public Record Act was recently amended to make any incidents of police violence, sexual assault, and false reporting non-confidential, Kennedy said. Since the deputy gangs appear to regularly engage in all these activities, we will likely have more access to the personal files than the past commissions. Wow. So let's see how it goes. Members are tattooed with symbols of violence and death and use hand signs and prison slang. And sometimes tax trainee deputies for money or sex. It's just like many criminal gangs. In 1990, the federal judge specifically found that departmental policymakers knew deputies in Linwood had formed a neo-Nazi white supremacist gang, the Vikings, yet tactically authorized this corrupt behavior. So yeah, they didn't break it down. They stood with it. They stood with it. You know, they're gonna look out for each other. Moving on. The last LASD undersheriff, the second in command, was tattooed Viking member who fatally shot a man under circumstances another cop called an execution, according to the Loyola report. He was sentenced to 5 years in prison in 2016 for the obstruction of a device. A pending lawsuit filed by an internal whistleblower has also concluded allegations that current undersheriff was a member of a police gang. The LASD did not respond to the request for comment about the allegations. Well, yeah, I know they weren't going to respond. They just was not. It'll be setting out their brotherhood. Although it flies under the radar compared to the size of Los Angeles Police Department, LASD is a sprawling agency even by global standards with about 18,000 employees serving more than 10 million Americans. It spans near 200 communities and oversees the largest jail system in the world. The fact that race and law have presided in such a major department, and despite the protests, the local and federal officials speak to the prevalence of white supremacy U.S. policing. The FBI warned the white supremacist information of the law enforcement by organized group and individuals in 2006. A sermon. 2015 policy statement on counterterrorism pointed out that the domestic terrorism investigators of white supremacists often have identified active links to law enforcement officers, according to the 2020 report by Brennan Center for Justice. So yeah, this has probably been going on for years. Like they say, it's been going on in my community, and I was way across the state. I was in the Midwest. I grew up in the Midwest, and guess what they was doing there? The same thing. Notably, Metropolitan Police Department officers in Washington, D.C. also have been documented using their apparent gang signs and symbols to associate their units with violence and white supremacist groups. The Washington Post reported August 2017 that an ADC judge dismissed the gun possession case that a year over allegations that arresting officers were involved in creating a t-shirt featuring a Grim Reaper, which is looked very much like the logos of LASD gangs. So they even got a logo now. If the street gangs can't be street gangs, what makes the police be street gangs? How can they do it? And they supposed to be protecting the community, but instead they ain't doing nothing but riding down on blacks and Latinos and murdering them. Moving on. Kennedy said that the persistence of the deputy gangs in LASD is unique. Current investigation has more information to build on and is confronting the problem during a generation when civilian oversight is no longer novel, and he added. He also said dynamic law enforcement agency is changing. Times are different, Kennedy said. Really believe many LASD members are opposed to the gangs, therefore will come forward, notwithstanding so-called code of silence. So they keeping it silent. Any group that forms and create a logo and forms and not legal with it, they're gang. Again, like I said in my previous videos, I have heard the police in Chicago say out their own mouth, we're the biggest gang in this, you know what I'm saying? So ain't no secret, they go from state to state. Opinions expressed are those of an author. They do not reflect the views of Record News, which under the trust principles is committed to integrity and independence and freedom from bias. So these people riding around, they got tats, they got guns because they legal to have them. They got bazookas, all type of military vehicles, uniforms, and they riding around killing people and doing other things to break the law. This is the law, supposedly. And they supposed to be helping people, man. Especially, you know what I'm saying, in all communities. I don't know, bro. I'll be back with more on this topic. Like, share, and subscribe to IONU TV. It's the greatest channel in the world. Stay happy, stay healthy, and as I say in my other videos, watch the police.